sure what happened there. I don't know if it reached some maximum or something on YouTube. I don't know. Check my phone, see what the phone says it's doing. Okay, I think the stream's working again now. Hey Mitchell. So what was happening was I was trying to fix the printer. So it hadn't been printing properly for a while. So I replaced a few parts on it, and this was kind of just taking it apart and replacing the motors. Not the motor cable for the extruder. I already replaced the motors. And this here is kind of just what I'm doing a test print of. So it's a little holder to stop the sticks on the Mavic from kind of bashing together whilst it's in transit. So it's just a quick print that won't take too long, but helps to confirm if it's working or not. So then I've got a few things that I wanted to print, but I hadn't had the time to get round to fixing this, which is why I thought I'd do a stream test and have a go at fixing the printer at the same time. Two birds with one stone, as it were. For some reason now it says the stream is working, but I don't see it on my page. But yeah, it shouldn't take that long. Have you got a 3D printer, Mitchell? Okay, interested in getting one, or not something you already kind of thought about before? Like I say, I've had this one for how many years is it now? Got it not long after I moved here. I think it must be about 4 years old, and I've done over 2,000 hours of printing on it, and only then have I kind of ran into this problem where it stopped working, and it was all just because of this cable, which I will just grab here that I've chucked on the floor. Cheers, David. Thanks for helping check the live stream out. Yeah, this cable here basically is what caused the problem. This little brown wire, there's obviously a kink in it or something. It's a little bit loose from the printing, because obviously it's moving forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards all the time. Sorry for the camera shake. It's because it's on the table with the printer moving. But yeah, so it took me 3 different attempts to narrow it down to it being this cable that was the cause, but it's cost me $4.99 including shipping for that cable, and it seems to have fixed it. So I will put this back in its proper place when this is finished printing a little bit more, and then hopefully can start kicking off the original print that I was trying to do. How many months ago it was? I think it was about 3 months ago it stopped working. and I'd say replaced a few things. Extruder motor I replaced, along with the tooth gear thing on there as well. Replaced that, so that's all new in there. So I think in terms of all the parts I've replaced, it's probably about £20, but really it was only a £5 cable that was broken in the end. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad really. So I think what I'll do is I'll stop the print and then we'll have a little look and see kind of how it's come out. So I don't need it to finish because I'm not actually going to use it. Yes to cancel. And this was one of the other things that I printed in the past, which is a vertical stand for my Mac Mini. So again, this came out pretty well as well. I just used a luminous yellow filament because that's what I had handy at the time. It does work good. So let's wait for the print bed to cool down a little bit, and then take this off. So I'll turn it off to stop the noise of the fans and everything for a bit, and then should be good. Let me just move that out of the way a bit. So it's moved a little bit now, so you can't see it. Oh. Yeah, really cheap to fix, really. And it wasn't that expensive to purchase in the first place. We'll just wait for it to cool down a little bit, and then I'll pop it off, and then I can set about trying to get the next thing printed tonight. Then know for sure if it's probably fixed itself. It doesn't really use much power really either, so I should have plenty of power in my power wall to run that through the night. Let me just see how much electricity I'm using right now. Got all the lights on in the cave, so using it more. Yeah, 600 watts. So should be all good. Oh yeah, that's okay. So that's it. This is print completed. So I'm pretty happy. Well, it's not, obviously the print's not complete. I finished it early, but I'm happy that it is now printing properly again. So I'll give the nozzle a quick clean, and then put this back where it lives, and it should be good. So again, the idea of this video was just to test if the stream is working properly for some upcoming Q&A stream that I'll be doing along with the giveaway, or choosing the winner of the giveaway for the drone. And then a few people have been inquiring about the 3D printer, if it was still working after all these years. And as it wasn't, I thought I'd just get it fixed, and just good to demonstrate how cheap we can get these things done. Yeah, 600 watts is obviously, I've still got, I've got 9 non-energy efficient bulbs kind of running right now, as well as the lamps and everything. I've still got my servers and everything on, so it's pretty good. So tonight, I've got 2 things that I've been wanting to print for a little while. One of them is now I've got my Apple Watch. I want to print a holder to keep the charger in, and also, I've seen this really cool Star Wars extendable lightsaber. So I've made 2 Star Wars lightsaber hilts for my kids before with the 3D printer, and this one is different in terms of it actually has it kind of, it's like, you've probably seen in the shots before, if you kind of flick it, the end will come out to kind of make it look a bit like the lightsaber if it was real turning on. So I've seen a 3D print of that I want to give a go as well. So once I print those things, I will post a picture of them both on the Twitter channel and on the YouTube kind of community channel as well, so you can see what it looked like if you're interested. But I got a couple of videos, obviously, from when I kind of did an original review a while back of this printer. But most things on the printer itself, even, I've printed for it. So I just, if I move the camera around, I'll just quickly show you that before I call it a night. So these orange pieces here, I printed with ABS, so a different type of plastic. I tend to use PLA plastic most of the time. It's also kind of food friendly. But when I'm printing with ABS, there's a lid, like a clear lid that goes on top of here. So this is to stop it from slipping around. Then this here is also a mount for an additional fan that I fitted that connects to provide some airflow to cool the plastic as it's printing coming out the hot end. So it just helps with adhesion and get slightly better quality prints. Printed that on here as well. If I move it back a little bit, which is a bit tricky. It's a focus bit. So I printed this as well. So this is a holder to keep the door open. So when it's obviously printing, get some good airflow in and out, especially with PLA. That's important. And then in here, which you can't really see, is a little plastic cover for the SD card slot, because without that, there's a bit of a gap. It's just the right size for an SD card, so when you're trying to put it into the actual reader, it disappears inside the unit, and then you've got to take the whole thing apart to get your SD card back. But yeah, it's great, really. The things that, if you want to print it, you just have the ability to do it under your own steam without having to necessarily go and pay for something that someone else has 3D printed. And I've printed replacement arms for my drones and all sorts of stuff. So again, I can't think of how many things I've watched, I've built all together, but 2,000 hours is a lot of printing time. So yeah. So that's it, I think. Like I said, I don't actually use the SD card very much anymore because I've got something called an Aero box, which is basically what I built into a Raspberry Pi, so I can print from my network straight to the printer, because it's not a network-enabled printer by default, but it does have a USB port on the back, so I can print through the Astro box, through the USB, and then it kind of feeds across my network into there. Hey, Bloody Stew. So in terms of cost per item, I buy a reel of PLA plastic. I think it's about 10 kilograms. I think it costs about £20, and well, it lasts a long time. I'm just trying to think now. So with a £20 reel, how many reels have I got through? It's really difficult to gauge, really, but typically it's pence to print some of these things. So, for example, if I was to print, I'll show you one of the cases for the Raspberry Pi, just to give you an example. Right, so this is actually the Raspberry Pi Astrobox that that I run the Astrobox software on that controls this printer. And so this case for it, obviously I printed this myself with this printer. So I think this case would have cost me about 5p, 8p, something like that to print maybe. And to buy a case like this, people charge like somewhere between £5 to £8, I think, from when I looked. So yeah, I mean it depends. So this isn't obviously a I guess what I call a premium printer. So I mean I think that the print quality is really good, but it's not manufacturing grade, I would say. But there's just something about having the ability to be able to just print something as and when you want it, as opposed to having to kind of wait. And when you first start 3D printing, you make lots of mistakes, so you do get through a bit more filament. But then once you've been printing for a while, you have a better idea of how many shells and how many layers you want to configure things to, and the speed of the print and the cooling and all this sort of stuff. So it gets better and easier over time. But I think you agree that looks pretty smart, really. And again, that probably took about 2 hours, I think, to print a case like that. And I printed other kind of things for like recently for my kid's birthday. Really into Fortnite. I think everyone is really into Fortnite. And so I printed a few Fortnite V-Bucks coins to kind of give out to his friends, and they came out really well as well. So again, they don't cost hardly anything. In fact, if you don't need something to be really strong, so I think I've printed coasters and all sorts of things for like people in my team. But if you need to make something that's quite big, if it doesn't need to be really strong, it kind of prints in like a beehive. If you imagine a beehive in terms of how the cones are, that's kind of what it looks like inside. And so if you don't need to be really strong, you can have those kind of beehive cones be quite large. So it means it's quite light, doesn't use much plastic. Obviously it's not very robust, but yeah, it will again save on the plastic. And if you want to save some more money, so if you're just doing like draft kind of prototyping, again you can select to have less shells, and it'll be a kind of more rough print. But it's because you're just prototyping, so you don't care what it looks like. But it just makes the print time less as well. So I think I was actually looking, before I decided if I was going to try and fix this printer, I was looking on, like you say, GearBest and some other sites, and they have come down a lot, and a lot of the ones now have kind of some self-diagnostic tooling and stuff like that on there. Where this is everything's manual. I have to manually set the print bed to be the right level, all that stuff. Whereas nowadays you can buy one, and most of it kind of levels itself, and that's the hardest thing about making sure you've got a level print bed, and that there's enough, kind of not too much, but also enough gap between the print bed and the nozzle, so you get really good layering and kind of adhesion to the bed. But yeah, it's amazing now. If you think to someone that you could have done this in your home like 10 years ago, I think they would think you'd smoking something strange. In terms of other materials, so on mine, I can print PLA, which is what I tend to print most of the time, ABS, which I don't print anymore because it kind of expands and contracts a little bit, and it also absolutely stinks. So I don't have it. It's in a semi-ventilated area, but not that great, and it's not, ABS also isn't food safe. And I can also print, I'm trying to think what it's called now. It's like a nylon-y type of filament. I've never actually printed with it. Like I said, I just tend to print with PLA most of the time for the things that I need to do. But yeah, when you're looking at the 3D printers, they tend to say kind of what different type of filaments they support. It's I think it's like I feel like in a way it's a bit like virtual reality. I know it's a completely different kind of area, but 3D printers are so much more common in kind of the manufacturing industry. It can't print carbon fibre, as far as I'm aware. But in the manufacturing industry, they obviously use it heavily for prototyping. So, yeah, I think it's just less. It's less common, I think, in the consumer market. Hey, Pocketful. But yeah, I think in manufacturing they're using it a lot, and some companies that I worked at previously in the aviation industry were doing lots of 3D printing. Obviously, not necessarily always with plastics, sometimes with metals, but doing 3D printing on aircraft. So that if there was an item that needed to be replaced that would be detected kind of mid-flight, then when it kind of landed at whatever airport it was going to, they would have had the 3D print of that part being printed kind of there and then, so it could be replaced. So I think it's kind of a bit like virtual reality as well. I mean, I've got the HTC Vive, but I don't think VR has taken off as much as people hoped and thought it would in the kind of consumer home world. But more and more people are using it, like in healthcare and in kind of car manufacturing and stuff, to help visualize some of this stuff. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Pocketful, this video stream was actually not so much about printing. I had this printer for 3 years and done over 2,000 hours of printing, but it stopped working, and it turned out the problem was with one of the cables that goes into the extruder motor, and so I was just kind of testing my stream setup for some future streaming, and basically taking the printer apart to replace that cable, and then I just did a really quick crappy test print, which was just this little bit of plastic here, which is for this DJI Mavic controller to hold the sticks in place when it's in transport. So just proving that it was working properly, and then I was about to finish the stream, and a couple of you guys joined us some questions. So I just talking to you guys before I wrap up, but tonight I'm going to kick off a print, I think, of either the watch holder or the lightsaber hilt. I think that's a single piece, but I need to look at the SDL files again. So was that a Scottish company made some 3D printed rocket engine? Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, the watch holder in terms of the Apple Watch. So I got this fairly recently, and I mean, I don't know if you have an Apple Watch, but the charger is like a little magnetic thing, and so it'd be quite handy to have that into a watch holder so that I can take this off and just have it in the side in the cave to charge up. So that's your idea with that. But yeah, I'm happy with this thing. I'm trying to think back to how much it cost me. I think it cost me £600. I think rings a bell 3 years ago, and definitely got my money's worth. And just replacing that single cable there, even though I replaced some other things previously, trying to work out what the actual problem was, only cost me £5. So these things are pretty easy to maintain as well. It's not even complicated. You just need to be both competent and confident enough to take these things apart a little bit and see what happens. I mean, worst case, break it even more. You need to replace it anyway. But they have come down a lot. A bit. So you keep your Apple Watch charger in its cardboard box. So what does that mean? You charge it some other way, or you put it in the box to do the charging? Let me just move the camera a bit. There we go. Oh, so you actually keep it in the box that the Apple Watch came in, do you? And you just kind of lay it in there when you want to charge. I have the I can't remember what the name of this strap is, the Velcro one, so it doesn't come off like the sports strap. So for me, it's handy to be able to put the watch over it, a bit like a fake wrist, to try and get it to work properly. Oh, nice. I didn't think about using the box. I'm not actually quite sure where that's gone now. Somewhere, probably on my shelf somewhere, waiting. But right, I'm gonna finish up the stream, guys. It's getting late, nearly midnight here. Not sure where you guys are, and yeah, I'll post a picture both on the Twitter account at Spectrum Geeks and in the YouTube community stream with what I kind of make as well. So, oh, California. Yeah, much nicer weather than we do. Yeah, thanks again. So just before you go, are you guys subscribers to the channel already? Or is this... I think, Bloody Stu, I recognise your name. So I think you must have watched some other videos before. I'm not very good with the names, unfortunately. Terrible. But yeah, did you guys just stumble across the stream? Or are you kind of viewers to the channel already anyway? Ah, yes. Perving on my neighbours. Okay, cool. Well, I really appreciate you subscribing and obviously taking the time to watch the live stream as well. I've got another video coming out tomorrow at 6 p.m. UK time. It's quite a long video, so you may not be interested in watching. It's about half an hour. It's around solar stuff, and it's for the new My Energy Hub, which enables you to kind of remotely control the My Energy Zappy and Eddy. And then something that's just released today that I'll be doing a review on as well, gives the ability to then control and connect to those devices via the app. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, good stuff. So hopefully that video will be of interest to a few people that have got solar or interested in solar and got electric vehicles and want to be able to charge or heat their hot water from surplus solar as well. So hopefully it'll be a good one. It took a long time to edit. It also shows how to kind of do. Sorry, I was looking at your link there. Let's see if I can show it to other people. Wow, largest 3D printed rocket engine. That is pretty awesome. What a picture too. Wow. Yeah, man, it's weird because I said this to people before. I mean, obviously, I love gadgets and technology, but oh, nice, Mitchell. Still waiting for the Model 3 to come out here. I know a few people on the channel have ordered one, so I went and sat in one when I took my Model S in for service. Really good. I'm really impressed with it, actually. But yeah, in terms of kind of being alive now, I think it's kind of awesome, right? Because I feel like in so many ways we're living in the future. Like, whether it be, you know, SpaceX and their kind of renewable, what My brain's not working now. But you know what I mean. The fact that these rocket payloads can load and be reused, the fact we can 3D print stuff, all this stuff just, I think it's an amazing time to be alive, and technology is awesome, but also, like most things, can be a bit crappy sometimes, but keeps me kind of passionate and infused, and still loving the solar stuff. Wish I kind of thought and had the money to do it earlier, really. But have you got a power wall, Mitchell, or just solar, or some other kind of battery storage technology? Right, what I need is. Okay, guys, thanks again. I'm going to call it a night. And again, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you being a subscriber and helping me out, and hopefully sharing the enjoyment I get from making the videos. So thanks again. Have a good night, a good rest of your day, and we'll catch you on the next video and the next live stream. And my plan for the next live stream is I'm going to do the Q&A that a few people have said that they'd be interested in, to do a Q&A stream, and then also choose the winner of the drone giveaway. So have a good one, and yeah, I will catch you all next time.